All right, how we doing, Charlie? Welcome to Long Beach. First thing I want to say. My disagreement here would be the defunding of Harvard. I want to know your legal justification for defunding Harvard.
First of all, is that a Harris Walls hat?
It is, yes. How about this? If you beat me, I'll change it.
No, it's fine. No, it's funny. It's kind of like seeing all like the losers of the Super Bowl hats, like that get sent to those African villages.
I know, yeah, no, it is.
It's like all those like Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champion
I've
hats
seen that, yeah.
that just disappear. Why is any college entitled to federal money?
Okay, so that's a good question. So first of all, medical research. So the majority of the money that goes to Harvard is medical research. And so they are a huge portion of research, Harvard especially. But then I want to get into the legal justification of it. So I think it's dumb, but I want to more focus on the legal justification of it.
Well, no college has to get money from the government.
No,
it's
100%,
done. Right,
of
so
course. But you have a reasoning for defunding Harvard, all right? And so
Several, correct.
Yes, correct.
So, but let's first get our facts right. What is the endowment of Harvard?
Okay, so the endowment of you want to clarify that? What are you talking about here?
Do you know what an endowment is?
I don't know what an endowment is. What is endowment of Harvard? Yeah.
Okay, so an endowment is like think of it as a savings account.
Got it. Yep.
So Harvard has the largest savings account of any college.
Of course, yes.
How much money do you think that is in their savings account?
A substantial number. 100%.
How much? What guess? What?
Couple $1 trillion.
Okay, it's not that big, but it's 55. It's not that big.
Okay.
They're not a country, but it's $55 billion.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, if a college has $55 billion, why do they need more money from taxpayers?
I think they need more money from taxpayers because they are making several improvements, especially in the medical field, and they are pushing society forward.
Why can't they use their $55 billion in the bank account that they refuse to touch?
So how about this? Then why do they have to give their information? So let's talk about their research and their data. I think the first thing that we should agree is that there is no bad data. Every data that we have is an increase in knowledge, and we can't have bad data. So it would seriously hurt the government if they give all of their data and all of their information to the public prior, especially on research and cancer and all this kind of stuff. Do you agree that the government wants, and this is what happens right now, they want to receive that data before the rest of the public? It is super important that the government receives that data prior to the public.
Not necessarily. I think actually open source data is a great way to go. I mean, if we're financing it, why shouldn't the whole world know about it?
Well, the whole world does know about it, but the government needs to know about it first because they need to. That's a very crucial thing. But again, I want to stick to the point here. So the big reasoning.
No, but I want to just make sure that we're clear.
Okay.
They're sitting on a $55 billion cash pile.
Correct.
Yeah, and they get $2 billion a year.
Yes.
Maybe they should just tap some of the $55 billion they have to fund all of their
And they do.
Their
They don't completely use federal funding. They don't only use federal funding.
They actually have not dipped into their endowment. It actually grows every single year. But anyway, back to the legal justification.
Okay.
Harvard is in blatant violation of federal law.
Okay, but federal law. So I'm assuming you're referring to the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Well, because it's the Student for Fair Admissions Supreme Court case, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, of course.
Right? They are in direct violation of accommodating Black and Hispanic students at the expense of white and Asian students, and they continue to push forward affirmative action, acceptance, and hiring practices, which is in defiance of the Supreme Court, breaking federal law. And when you break federal law, you should not get federal money. Pretty simple.
But the Trump administration has said that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and anti-Semitic practices have been the reason for the defunding of Harvard. So that's the thing. They're in violation of Title VI under the
amongst many things. The strongest of all of the president's claims is the violation of the 14th Amendment and the Supreme Court decision a couple years ago, the Students for Fair Admissions. Harvard is in violation of that. They've acknowledged they're in violation of it.
Yes,
They
agreed.
brag about it. So when you're in violation of the Supreme Court, your federal money will be not sent to you.
But let me ask you this. So the Trump administration in 2019, they passed the executive decision to add religion to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So in 1964, would you agree that religion was not at all included in Title VI? And so my first question is, because it wasn't explicitly included in Title VI, but it was explicitly included in Title VII, how can the executive office interpret this as to wanting to include religion?
It has nothing to do with. We're talking past each other.
No,
right?
it absolutely
the core
does.
complaint is the violation of the
Supreme. DEI, yes, the DEI as an admission.
Right. No, but I mean, so you asked what is the legal justification? Very simple. When you defy the Supreme Court, you no longer get money.
But at the same time, the Trump administration, by passing this executive order to count religion into the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, that is going against the Constitution. As it's first thing I want to get to is, can you agree that in 1964 they intentionally did not include religion into Title VI, which is education. That's education as a whole, into the Civil Rights Act.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. So perfect. So then, why do you think that we are currently interpreting the addition of?
I'm not even getting into that's actually probably the White House's weakest claim. They made about 10 claims against Harvard.
Yeah.
The strongest claim, of which I will continue to rest on, is they're violating federal law. They're violating the Supreme Court. The shakiest of all their complaints is the one when it comes to anti-Semitism. By the way, they have a lot of anti-Semitism, but unfortunately in this country you're allowed to be a bigot and an anti-Semite.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the crispest allegation against Harvard is the fact that they keep on penalizing white and Asian students that want to go to Harvard.
Okay, yes, but that's but we're talking about the pro-Palestinian protest.
No, I got it. But you're talking about a 10-part charging document. Again, I think the audience agrees. You're not really listening to what I'm saying, right?
Okay, no, but but that's different. That's not why they're defunding Harvard. That's not why they're defunding Harvard.
Again, they put forward 10 complaints. I'm going after the top one. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, and
I appreciate you. All right. Thank
enjoy
you so much.
President Harris. Oh, wait. Thank you. Next question.